Rhythm is one of the more challenging ideas to convey to people that haven't done a ton of art before, and even some that are doing art on a daily basis. It is one of those more abstract ideas. But to try and really break down how that could be implemented to art, this was the easiest way that I think what would make sense, which is to compare the idea of rhythmic mark making to music, to notations on a page. So when you can see an actual timed rhythm like this sheet music for Swan Lake, you can kind of see the pacing that is intended there. Just nature in by nature, you can see a pattern that appears and a sort of a rhythm, for lack of a better word. So the idea, the way I would describe that same concept for mark making, it is a sequential, similar type of marks that, while are small in themselves, add up to a larger statement overall, like a gestalt, a gesture. The sum is more than the parts, right? So it's just all these ways of thinking about a collection of similar shapes or similar strokes that can add up to a much larger statement in the end. And that is the best way I can describe that. But I do feel that this example of looking at music is the best thing I've found for trying to understand how that can be implemented. And so we're going to take a look at lots of examples of where I think it's showing itself very well. So here's a great example of a bunch of different variety. The mountain on the top left is so soft that you can literally see the water streaks going down the forms, and it almost makes a wireframe. You can see just how smooth and how soft that shape is. This repeating curvature, or this repeating crescent shape, is the rhythm of this piece. You can see it very, very clearly. The image to the right of it is a more lumpy kind of crescent shape, but you could still very much see this kind of repeating curved half moon sort of shape appearing over and over and over again. And just the way that we did on the banyan tree, where we started out with a very simple geometry that almost looked like a mushroom, and then proceeded to make smaller and smaller versions of that same type of form, dividing it up into large, medium, and small. That is exactly the same thing that we would be doing here. Bottom left, this field of poppies in California, again, you see this kind of curved crescent shape appearing over and over again, and they're interweaving with each other slowly back into the distance and getting smaller and smaller. So this kind of crescent shape that the poppies are making, curving back through these larger sagebrushes, make a repeating rhythm. Now the part that is really up to you as the artist is to decide exactly what that shape is. I'm just reporting on what I'm seeing here, but you could certainly make many different design choices that could lead it into a different direction and create a different rhythm. But those poppies, nonetheless, they create what looks like a really unique rhythm to me. And the image in the bottom right, now that also creates a very interesting rhythm in the sense that it has very noticeable large ivy leaves, and it's dripping down, like almost like a waterfall, dripping down these large lumpy forms. And that in and of itself creates a very repeatable rhythm that, to be honest, would be very memorable to the viewer. So looking at this isn't obviously anything more than my interpretation of what I think these rhythms are doing. But however nonsensical or however hard to understand my description might have been just now, this should show you exactly what I mean. And you can kind of see it. The more you see it, the more you can't really unsee it. That this is the nature of the way that these forms are moving, and this is the movement that you are likely to create with your composition. Now, you can find pathways through these larger rhythm lines very easily. This is a very easy thing to do. But the ultimate result is that you want to create movement through your image. You want to create some type of characterful, repetitive shape, and you can disguise that as much as you want to, but it will ultimately create movement through your image, and that is what rhythm does. it always creates a certain amount of movement, which is a good thing. So we can look at a mixture of reference and drawings to illustrate this point. But here you can see on one side a very aggressive curving upward motion that feels like an energy that goes upwards and to the right. And that this is Vasquez Rocks here in California, and that rhythm could be very much exaggerated from this photo. I think it is a great example of it, but it could be exaggerated as well, which would create even more movement. So it's kind of about the same way you would when you were doing a figure drawing the human body. You're looking for gesture lines, you're looking for a trend. And once you associate that kind of idea with landscapes, you realize that landscapes and larger environments have quite a lot of rhythm, and natural environments, they're just full of it. So it will be something you'll want to exaggerate for the sake of enhancing your image for sure. Looking at these drawings, they also have a similar approach, which is taking a trend and repeating it in large, medium, and small quantities. Image on the left is very clear. You have vertical, very simplified cylindrical tree trunks, and then you have these almost pointy teardrop shape or flame shaped clusters of foliage that are almost climbing up the tree in very repeatable patterns. So that the way I'm describing the foliage on the trees is all using that same trend and that same rhythm, breaking it up, large, medium, and small, mind you, but those all are of the same family. The tree trunks are all of the same family, and the little curly Q raspberry bushes or whatever those are on the ground that are trying to climb their way up the trees, those all are of the same family. So if you can think of it that way, this is a very easy idea to implement if you pick your shapes wisely and you think not, how to group things into like categories. Image on the right is a very similar thing in the sense that you have a rhythm of these top planes of these shelf-like rocks, as we looked at in some of the references, and you have a very smooth curved top, and then you have a vertical drop off and a break. And that repeating shape or form is evident all over the image. Here's a bit more variety in terms of the ways that you can implement rhythm. So the image on the left has a hatching style, and that hatching is able to provide a patchiness that not only describes the form really well in all of its different, rhythms. Again, these very curved, smoother hills on the left side that kind of truncate at the curving path, and then the more choppy, planar boulders that the character is standing on in the center, and then it goes back down into rolling hills with bushes again on the right. And each one of those kind of has this, again, this patchy look to it. But those textures and those movements of what is suggesting planes basically is able to give us a lot of information about those surfaces might be, how soft they might be, and I think this is a really easy way to do it and create that movement that we discussed before. The image in the top right does the very same thing, but does it with a different technique. So it's using ink wash and more of a dry brush technique for some of the vertical strokes, but it is creating a similar type of rhythm, but with a totally different type of technique. The image in the bottom is creating its rhythm not by mark making, but by shape. So this kind of lumpy, doughy spire roof is a repeated shape that goes throughout this entire image. And that shape repeating in large, medium, small. Again, I will bring up the mushroom banyan tree that we used, a very simplified mushroom shape to describe. Same exact thing, breaking it down into large, medium, and small once you establish the larger form. And that then is a very easy way to kind of let the eye dance around through the image a bit.